Hey guys, what's good? I'm Andre and today I want to walk you guys through GGPI and whether or not it's a good time to buy right now, and why do I think that it's quite a bullish case for a very strong stock that we can buy for nothing basically compared to its intrinsic value. We're also going to try to calculate or just have a whack at what the intrinsic value should be once the merger is complete. So guys, before we jump in, I'm gonna plant 100 trees as soon as our very young channel reaches 500 subscribers. Help me out and we're gonna help the planet out as well. So guys, let's jump right in and try to understand what's going on with GGPI and whether or not we're in for a successful 2022. Guys, we've been through this before. It's the presentation that GGPI and Polestar put together for us a few months back. We've reviewed it in full here on the channel, but in this case I just want to have a look at one or two specific things. So the first one I want to start with, and again we're gonna try to build a bullish case for GGPI here. Guys, I do encourage you to do your own due diligence. It will help you with any FUD periods within the market. Do not ever buy anything just because a YouTuber says so. So let's jump right in. Guys, they promised that they would sell 29,000 cars throughout 2022, and lo and behold, they managed to do just that. As you guys can see in this article from Benzinga, they did confirm that they hit the sales target of $29,000. Now the caveat here is that we still have pretty frugal information from Polestar themselves because the merger is not complete, but as soon as the merger is complete and the ticker symbol is gonna change to PSNY, we're gonna be able to tell immediately. And again, stay tuned. We will run some comparisons with Lucid, with RIVN, with NIO, and see exactly where GGPI and Polestar can be once they fully get listed. Check the timestamps below if you want to fast forward to that part. Okay guys, going back to bullish arguments though, I want to say the fact that it's absolutely fantastic to see that today they're gonna basically launch their first real impactful ad by saving a spot for themselves at the Super Bowl. I'm really excited to see that, and let's see what that does for the stock, guys. And the other next bullish case I want to make here is the fact that they've already started quite robustly in South Korea with over 4,000 reservations, guys. And the fantastic thing about GGPI is that as their investor presentation was showing us, let me just find where exactly that was, guys, they have the ability to lean into a lot of resources in terms of just being able to scale up fast. They're gonna basically be able to start scaling up to 280,000 cars a year for some of these fabrics or factories that they're gonna be able to have access to through their partnership with Volvo and the whole backstory there. And another really bullish case, guys, for Polestar going into 2022 and 2023 is the fact that we should start seeing slight insights into Polestar 3 coming next year, guys. So I'm really excited to see how that goes. So I really think that Polestar 3 is probably gonna be the one car that really establishes them on the market. Now guys, the one thing that I want to show you before we move into just making sure that we try to identify the intrinsic value for Polestar is the fact that they are positioning themselves as pure global EV plays. Now what this means is that while some of the other competitors that they have, like Lucid, NIO, XPeng, so on and so forth, those do have market share in different markets, but as you can see here, and they explain it pretty well, they are the only ones that compare to Tesla in terms of being truly global. So with that in mind, guys, I want to jump in here and have a look at what we can expect the market to gratify GGPI for right now. And let's just go ahead and have a look here, guys. So for Lucid, for instance, we know that we have roughly 1.6 billion shares out right now. The market cap right now is 42 billion and they trade at roughly $25 a share right now. Now again, this is just one example. I find it a very similar, very important example because they also launched as a SPAC and we've seen the highs and lows with Lucid. But guys, the one very important difference is how many cars Polestar has been able to already ship, already sell, already have out on the streets, while Lucid is way more early stage, and I honestly think that it's gonna take Lucid at least a year, if not more, to ramp up and actually be competitive with Polestar in terms of matching those sales numbers. I think Polestar is gonna be probably miles ahead, pun intended, by the time Lucid is able to attempt to scale at these capacities. The next one here, guys, RIVN. Let me just bring some color in here. So for RIVN, we know that they have roughly 890 million shares and a valuation right now of $53 billion. Don't even get me started on it. I really truly think that this stock is probably gonna continue falling like a knife, so I wouldn't personally touch this. Sorry if any of you guys are fans, but honestly I wouldn't touch this until it starts actually ramping up and actually delivering a lot of vehicles. I still believe that they haven't been able to deliver any except for that sort of 150 200 vehicles that they started out with, so really bearish on this one stock, but there's currently trading at roughly $58. The next one here is NIO, and I want to say the fact that unfortunately I really think that NIO doesn't really compare to Polestar in the fact that there's a lot of China fear that this stock is being currently penalized for. Whether or not the company behind it is great, and I personally think that the company behind the NIO stock is indeed great. Obviously the whole China fear, the idea that it's all of a sudden gonna get delisted, I'm not gonna get into that, but that plays a lot into why this stock is trading at these values. But regardless of that, we're seeing that they have roughly 1.3 billion shares out. They are currently trading at a market cap of roughly 38 billion, so a price per share of $24. Now guys, let's have a look at how GGPI is currently sitting, and then the next step is to look at Polestar. So for GGPI, we have roughly 800 million shares right now, and then we are trading at a market cap of 888 million as well. So the current price per share is roughly $11.25. And guys, I think that the one way we can calculate what the price per share is actually gonna be for Polestar is by having a look at the competitors and understanding what they're gonna be gratified for. So basically, if we just take a second here and look at the fact that once they do merge, they complete the merger, we're gonna have 2.1 billion shares out, actually 2.15. So what would happen if we just give it NIO's valuation, guys? I'm just gonna go with rough numbers. There's no reason to get super particular. So as you guys can see, we currently are trading at $11.25, and if we match NIO's valuation, we're gonna be roughly at $17.67 per share. Now if we go as high as Lucid's valuation, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I really think that Polestar again is way better than Lucid. I would be extremely more bullish with Polestar than with Lucid, and I do think that Lucid is a solid company, but to my mind Polestar is just leaps and bounds higher than them. Honestly, I've been tracking them for a while, I've been doing my due diligence for a while, so I really trust this company a lot. But anyway, if we match the Lucid valuation here, we'd be at roughly $19.78, so that's almost doubling your investment if you go in right now. And then guys, if we go as far as valuating it at what RIVN is currently valued at, we'd be roughly at $24.64. Now, when should we expect this to happen? It's gonna happen within the first half of the year. This is what the guys at GGPI have been telling us for a while. Now, obviously, we don't know exactly when that time's gonna be. It hasn't been made public, but I do expect that as soon as we find out what that time is, the stock to gap up higher quite aggressively. So with that in mind, we would have the $25 price point here. And you know what, guys, the one other thing that I would like to do here before we move on would be just to see what would Polestar trade at if we were to gratify it for a higher price point. So we do know that for Lucid, and I'm just gonna use Lucid as a reference here because again, I think that RIVN was just hype and no value, honestly. Again, really sorry for any of you guys that are really hard in love with RIVN. But with Lucid here, we know that it traded roughly at $45 for a good period of time. So what would be the market cap, guys, at that point in time? Honestly, I haven't calculated it, so give me a second here and we're gonna figure it out immediately. But yeah, the market cap has at that point been roughly 74 billion. So with a market cap of 74 billion, let's see how Polestar would be. And Polestar would be at $35 at that price point. And obviously guys, this is not the market environment for Polestar to be valued so high. We all know it. Between Russia, between inflation fears and everything else that's going on in the market, it's really hard for Polestar to get such a high valuation right now. That being said, with GGPI being a SPAC and with the floor at $10 a share, I really think that the risk to reward ratio here, even for a very, I would say, conservative valuation of roughly what NIO is getting, the risk to reward ratio makes a lot of sense. We have roughly $1 risk for $7.8 of potential upside. I think that GGPI or Polestar is a clear buy for me personally right now. I don't want you guys to invest into anything. This is not a recommendation to buy. You do your own due diligence. Let me know in the comment section below if you have any questions, guys. Subscribe for more breakdowns like this, and I'll catch you next time. Take care.